Welcome to Top 5 with Joey Cassata. Starring Joey Cassata.
Team Jesus, my friend. Am I walking around park?
Co-starring Ernie Palooza. And the Doctor, Tommy Snyder.
Goddamn.
Now here's your host, Joey Cassata.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Top 5. I'm your host, Joey Cassata.
Hi, and I'm Pitfall Harry.
And, of course, we got the Doctor, Tom Snyder.
A-17 bomber.
And back with us by popular demand in the southern regions of Antarctica, we got Billy Z. What's up, Bill?
What's up, guys? Thank you for inviting me back. I think this is officially I'm a third-time special guest.
Yeah, we had to have you back. We got a flood of emails. Yeah. When I mean a flood, I mean zero. And they had to have you back, Bill. It was
right.
The size of your head. They couldn't believe there was a human with a head that big.
I'm looking at Ernie right now. It looks like an eclipse. I don't like this. I used to be coming back under popular demand.
Nah, you're a regular now, Doctor.
You're a regular, Tom. You got to come off a few shows.
You're here so often. I had to put you on the opening.
Oh boy! Goddamn!
Speaking of which, Ernie, I don't know if you want to address our buddy, the Big Ragu, Carmine. He's been all over social media demanding Snyder's exit because he says that he's taking over your spot on the show and we don't hear from you anymore. What do you got to say?
Do I have time to talk, or is Tommy got to go?
Perfect. Wow.
Whoa.
Shots fired.
Fight. He's going to get the leather jacket.
Uh-oh. You don't want that, Tom. And the hockey stick.
The only thing I could say is there's no way Ernie will ever find Tommy's house. He's the worst at directions. So, Tommy, you are so safe, it's not even funny.
He's a regular Magellan.
Ernie, where did we get lost? Whose wedding? Were we going to Carmine's wedding? Whose wedding did we get lost at when we met the wives there? Alexis?
I have no memory of any
We had
of
to
this.
go pick up a card. Our only job was to pick up you know how we all do it. All of us do the same thing. None of us ever buy a wedding gift card when we go to weddings together, and we all throw our gifts in the same envelope, right? Usually there's no card. It's just a white envelope with some checks in it from us.
Joey always goes last because he crosses out everybody else's name.
From Joey.
IOUs.
Well, before we get into our topic tonight, we got to play the world famous Doctor. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh boy, this is good stuff. I got this little guy in this liquor store in Jersey, and every time when I walk in every Thursday, I go, "Well, what are you looking for?" I said, "I don't know, some kind of whiskey." So here we go. Knob Creek.
I know Knob Creek. I don't know the smoked apple, but I know Knob Creek, of course.
Smoked maple.
Whoa, smoked maple. Beautiful.
Got me a little confused. You got me scared there.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell I was. You had the apple last week. That's why I got confused.
This is absolutely fantastic. It's not sweet. Beautiful. Smooth.
That's Knob Creek is bourbon, right?
I believe so, yeah.
I think, Tom, do you put that on your pancakes in the morning?
Bourbon whiskey. What happened?
I said, do you put that on your pancakes in the morning?
I could totally see that would have been perfect for the Hamptons because when we used to wake up with the hangovers in the Hamptons, Tommy's theory was you had to trick the alcohol back into your body. So how would we? Because you don't want to take a sip of anything the next day because
You take 99 bananas and you pour it in your cornflakes.
Little booker in the coffee. You sneak it into your system. You're like, oh,
There you go.
goddamn, I'm back.
Not this way.
This could be a whole new line of alcohol that goes with your breakfast.
It's,
I mean,
the
Good way to start off the day 25 years ago.
the Tom Snyder line. Start your breakfast of champions.
this is particularly good with pancakes.
I remember when we used to play football, and we were on that team together. And I don't even know what the hell league were we even in? I don't even remember what it was. But it was so cold we used to have to wear shirts on our faces. Remember? We used to have to tie shirts to our face, and we would get in the huddle, and Snyder would get in the huddle with us, and he'd still be out from the night before. And we were like, "Wow!"
Oh,
I'm just like, guys, I just came from Flatbush. Can I play? What are you doing in Arnold?
It really was like 7 in the morning. It's not. You would really be coming from Flatbush. Those were. Remember how cold it was?
I fell in a mud puddle during that cold, catching a ball.
What league? What the hell were we even doing? What was that? A league?
Yeah.
something.
What league?
Greg Prosser was the quarterback.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I think I only played 2 games. Too cold. Hurricane football couldn't get me out when I was younger in the cold, so it wasn't happening then.
What are you drinking tonight, Bill? Anything?
I am drinking nothing. I am surrounded by alcohol. I had to hide it from the kids. We got some Casamigos here.
I can't
Tequila.
see it.
It's Casamigos tequila. Maybe I'll take a little of this. It's bottle number 23,099.
That's the rare one, I think. That's the rare one.
I don't know.
Bill, you know a good way of hiding the alcohol is?
In your
Drink.
body.
In your tummy.
Saw that one coming.
Oh, no one will check for you down here.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're safe, my old friend.
What about you, Ern? What do you got?
Yep. Just plain old Heineken 0.
Oh, he's
Nice.
The mathematician, he's always got to look back at the bottle. 0.
0.0.
It's the same one every week.
Every week.
I'm going light tonight too. I got Billy's favorite, the Michelob Ultras.
Oh, those are my favorites.
And these are the thin ones, Bill. These go down great.
I have those myself in the fridge, and they are a nice size can. You know, they don't get when you're out.
Perfect.
You know, when you're out, they don't get too warm too fast because they're a decent size. So
It's like 4 sips and you're ready to go. I have 3 of them right in front of me. I couldn't even just have one. I don't want to go back and forth to the fridge.
That's why remember the little nips we used to drink?
yeah.
Yes, those were great.
The best.
Do they don't sell those anymore, right?
Yeah, they do.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen those in years. Those were great.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I think Carmine has some probably like a fruit flavored bacon or something. You know, those beers that he drinks. You know.
Oh, you know what? F Carmine. But anyway, go continue.
Ernie, come on, curse Carmine out. Do something.
What? He's
Curse him.
Carmine's my defender.
He's
Hey.
defending him.
Oh, that's true. No, oh yeah, never mind. What am I talking about? I forgot.
Tommy,
Oh, OJ, quick, punch Cochran in the face.
Well, wait a second. Never mind.
Tommy, I think Carmine needs some more leaves on his car.
I can make that happen. Plenty of trees where I'm at.
Listen, you want to take the ride over? I'll help you.
You got it.
All right, so we got a great topic this week. Billy's background might have given it away, maybe not. That system is one of the newer systems. I'm not familiar with it, of course. We're going to do top 5 favorite video games. Now, when we say video games, we're talking about home video games, not arcade games. Home systems. All systems are on the table here. All games are on the table, so we can go. I sent a text out earlier. We go from Pong to Xbox, so everything in between. So I think Pong was literally the first video game, right?
Telstar.
Yeah.
Pong. Yeah.
Yep.
And hockey.
Odyssey, right?
Pong paddles.
Yeah.
So that's where we're gonna go. I mean, I'm really not that big of a video game junkie. When I was a kid, I liked video games, but over the years, especially like my kids now, still into video games. all the 3D, fully surrounded video games, I don't like. I'm not good at. I get all confused. I can't work them. I know Snyder's still into them and stuff. I can't get. I like the 2D. I like Pitfall and the 2D stuff. I'll stick with that stuff. But let's see where I'm curious to see where everyone is with this stuff. I have my list. I know my favorites throughout the years. I didn't even have to do any research. I remember exactly what I love. But let's start with Bill. He's our guest. Billy, what do you got? Number 5.
Number 5. So first off, I chose games that were memorable to me. I mean, they were fun to play, but there was a reason why I remember them, I guess. So my first game is I had just gotten diagnosed with the chicken pox, and I just so happened to get Atari. It was Atari 2600. My mother got it for me. What time to get the chicken pox was perfect. But the game that I got that came with it was Asteroids. Which that was very close to the game that was in the arcade with games back then, right? A lot of those early games, the graphics were great to us, but when you compare them to the games in the arcades, and when you look at arcades now, they're like a joke. But that's what I'm going with. So my first pick, lock it in, is Asteroids.
Atari 2600.
So when everyone says Atari, I always get confused. Atari 2600 is the original Atari, right?
Yeah,
That's correct.
Why is it called 2600 again? Is it because the graphics?
Because it was a 300. No. I have
no idea.
Ernie, why?
Well, it originally wasn't called Atari 2600. But
was
then
just called Atari.
Came out with another system, the Atari 5200.
Double the graphics, right.
Yeah. Then they had to go back and rename the old one.
Gotcha.
But the original was called Atari VCS when it came out.
Is that true?
Video
I don't
cartridge
know.
system.
What? Video what?
Video cartridge system.
Wow. Nice, Ern. Got some facts today. I don't even think that one was written down.
I got to be honest with you, I just looked this up. He's actually right.
You don't have to look things up. I'm always right.
Yeah. Right. He must have did some research. Wow. Impressive.
Nice. Yeah, I remember Asteroids like it was yesterday. Again, I remember Asteroids specifically because I remember Atari didn't have a pause button. So you couldn't pause it. I remember playing Asteroids so much and my mom would literally be feeding me as I was playing Asteroids because you couldn't pause the game. And I was getting so good at it that I would play for like 3 hours straight.
I stopped playing hurricane football because I was playing with Billy. We mentioned this.
Yeah.
My father came to the window. Tommy, you got football practice. I'm like, turn it over to school. That's what he's trying to shoot for.
Turn it over. What? That's right. What was the score that turned it over? Up to what is it? What was it? 1 million? Was it 100,000? Anyone remember?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I remember turning it over. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's right. It was it's as real as it compared to the other stuff that was coming out to the 2600, like Pac-Man.
Right. Yeah, it did look right. But you're right. Asteroids, because it was so basic, they were able to copy it pretty well for Atari.
Yeah, it came out pretty good.
Yep.
You know the funny thing about the word asteroids? You think asteroids and hemorrhoids. Shouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah. Nice.
I know Joey sitting there getting his big fat ass fucking fed. Probably did get hemorrhoids.
I got hemorrhoids while I was playing Asteroids. What year did Atari come out?
79.
Yeah,
I say
according
77 or 78.
According to my screen right here, it's 1979.
No.
Asteroids came out in 79.
Right, but that wasn't the first Atari game, right?
No.
But Combat.
even though there was, like we said,
right.
Pong and Odyssey and that stuff, Atari was really the first system, right?
That's the first one I remember. I just remember being so excited to get it. When I got it, it was a big thing.
Billy and Ernie might remember. I had a thing called Combat, and it was like Telstar, but it was tanks. And
I remember that. Yes,
the controllers.
It was in the same game as Pong, I think. Wasn't it?
It was his own platform.
It was its own. I
you
remember
plug it
that.
in, and that's all you could play. And it was a pretty cool game, actually. It was pretty cool, but it was just geared towards that. So I think that was around the same time before Atari came out.
Yeah, what Tommy's talking about is Atari was the first game that had different cartridges.
Right.
There were games that you could hook up to your TV, but there's no cartridge. Whatever games it comes with, that's it.
And obviously, Atari was the popular one at that time. I remember as a kid, I was begging for Atari for Christmas, and of course, I didn't get it, but I got Intellivision, which I was disappointed because Atari was what all my friends had and what everyone had. But to me, Intellivision wind up being the way better system. Was it the same years about?
Yes. Yeah, I have it down. Well, on my list, one of the games I picked out. I have it 79. Also. But I know Intellivision was a lot more expensive than Atari too.
Yeah,
so you
agreed.
Spoiled brat.
Yes.
But it had this, it had the little sleeves you would put into the controller for each different game, so you could. I remember being disappointed, but again, remember in the long run, Intellivision for me with the disc was the better game system.
I liked it, and amongst us as friends, we all had different systems. And Eddie Romeo had Intellivision, and we used to go over to Eddie Romeo's house, and he had a decent amount of games and play over there. But it was always funny because we would go to different friends' houses to play different games. I don't think any of us were lucky enough to have multiple systems.
Right.
I did.
Oh, excuse me.
Eddie's house, the frontal load would go off in 2 seconds. We all thrown out of the house.
Ernie's family didn't have to buy him milk, so they had extra money to buy the extra
That's
system.
True.
He couldn't have anything for Easter either, so he got Atari Odyssey games and everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be allergic to milk in my life, and so I went over his house on Easter morning.
Before we start I don't want to rattle off games in discussion because it might give picks away. So, Doctor, what do you got? Number 5.
All right, I went with time frame because I can't compare the new platforms today to the old platform. So I'm going back to Atari 2600, how I felt about the game back then. And I have to go with adventure. I mean, I was a Dungeons and Dragons nut job.
Adventure or venture?
Adventure. Adventure was the little square. You had to find the chalice, and you had the 3 castles, the 3 dragons protecting the castles. And I actually looked them up. I didn't even know the dragons had names. It was yellow, Yorgel, green, Grundle, and red, Rindle.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I didn't know. But, oh, man, what a fun game. These dragons would come out of nowhere. If you were lucky enough to find the sword, you could jab them and they would die. And then you had a bat come across who would steal anything you had if you had the chalice, And the writer of the creator of the game actually put a secret room at the end. That back then, I don't even know I guess Ernie must have been a magazine or Billy, because you couldn't Google this stuff. How did we find out that there was a room? Because I remember busting the code.
I think you just got lucky. Ernie mentioned, people mentioned it, but that game was great. It was a lot of fun to play. I had that game, and you probably spent time at my house playing it. Mm-hmm. But it was an unusual game because things changed. Like, things happened off the screen in that game. Like, you would go somewhere and they're running away. You don't know where they are. Like, in most of the games at that time, everything was on the screen at the same time. There was no moving to another screen and going into different places.
Well, eventually you did. You went through a maze.
Right. Yeah.
To get to the other castles and stuff like that, but it was fantastic. But I'll go ahead, Ernie. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. When you were talking about that secret room with the creator's name, that was the first Easter egg ever in a video game.
Right. And if I remember correctly, we used to grab the bridge. Remember that bridge where you could pass through walls, and that's how you got into the secret room.
I remember that now. Yes,
It's pretty cool.
But there, like you said, there must have been. I used to hear everything word of mouth, like we said, but there must have been like a magazine or something because how the hell did anyone find out?
Yeah, no, it was a magazine. It was put out there on some some social form. I don't know, but probably Ernie read it because I couldn't read at that point when I was 16. So
Ernie was reading at 3 months.
Boy. I am
So.
smart.
All right, what do you
Even
got,
though I was
Ern?
leaving his homework.
Number 5.
Well, this is a game that nobody's mentioned yet. My number 5 is Adventure.
Oh my God. Carmine is not going to be happy. Carmine is not going to be happy.
Here's the way I look at it with Adventure. This game was before I even discovered Dungeons and Dragons. So for me, Adventure came first. And it started me down that path of Dungeons and Dragons and everything. In Adventure, I could role play as a fearless yellow square to fight terrible dragons that look like ducks.
It
Fat
put
ducks.
Ernie on the road to nerdism,
Yep.
as you could see.
But you
I
got to
might
understand,
have been already on my way at that time.
people that look back at these video games and laugh at the graphics. No way. You got to understand, we had nothing to compare it to. We had something at home that we could play rather than going to the arcade, because I was an arcade kid that I would go all the time to my local, not an arcade, but I go to my local candy store and play whatever games they have for hours and hours. But to have a video game system at home, this was the start of all of this. So the graphics were completely inconsequential. We didn't care what it looked like.
Right.
As long as you could do something and have activity on this game system, you were thrilled.
There wasn't the accessibility for video games, money wise.
Right.
The arcade was in Kings Plaza. You know, I remember the Kings Plaza had an arcade. I think Buddies
Too. Yeah, Buddies on
had one.
right off of Flatbush. What was that? What was that little avenue? K? What was that? Right.
No, it
Oh,
was down
Utica.
Utica.
Utica. Yeah.
Yeah.
Utica.
Yeah.
And and if you were lucky at Pizzeria, we'd have one or two. Jerry's Pizzeria. You know, you didn't have the money to pump in it. So it was real special. It really was.
Yeah, I disagree with you, Joe. I think the graphics for Adventure for that time are actually really damn good.
They are. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too.
1979.
I mean, the detail they put into the square is amazing.
It was almost like a real. It was almost like a real square.
It was so square. It was a perfect square.
It was unbelievable. I never saw a square like that ever.
All right, so my number 5. I'm not going in order as far as age and far back. I'm just going in games I like. So this one's a little bit newer. Obviously, I'm a little younger than you guys.
I was about to say your first game console was probably Xbox 360. But
So
My number 5 is Minecraft.
you guys were all born in the 60s. Well, not Ernie,
Yeah.
almost. So I know Tommy loves this game. I'm sure Billy does too. I gotta go Nintendo Hockey, the fat, medium, skinny guys. It was just, to me, obviously there were hockey games before this, and I'm sure that one of them, I won't mention it, but it might be on your list, an earlier game, which almost made my list. But this game was the first real hockey game that I was absolutely addicted to. And I know Tommy knows we love our hockey games, but the fat, medium, and skinny guys, where you could kind of build your team. And I don't remember, I feel like I used to always go with 3 fat guys. Because you couldn't check them. They were slow, but you could never check them. They would just get the puck, and you could go, 1 mile an hour down the ice like this, and your little skinny guys would be bouncing off of them. You could never get them down. You could never get the puck.
But when the skinny guy had the puck, you couldn't catch him.
Couldn't
So
catch.
how'd that work?
Right. Maybe I would go. I think I would go 2 fat and a medium. I don't remember what I used to like. I don't remember my strategy. Wasn't there a medium? Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think there was a medium, a middle guy.
I think there was a regular guy, a fat and a skinny. I don't remember for sure. I know there were fat and skinnies, definitely.
It's like a men's clothing store.
But what was it? Was it just called hockey?
I don't know.
Remember?
I mean, there was different hockey games at that time. There was I don't know if it was this one. Blades. There was a Blades of Steel.
Yeah,
and
well,
don't know if that was it.
shut up. Don't mention more games because we might be stealing. I mean, me and Snyder used to play Blades of Steel during playground rehearsals all the time.
Yeah, what do you call it? Activision hockey for 2600.
Oh, okay. I looking it up. It just was called ice hockey.
Ice hockey, yeah.
Nintendo ice hockey.
Does it have the picture of the three guys? Is it three different looking guys?
This looks. I don't know if this is it though, because it looks like it's a little bit more
Advanced.
involved. Yeah, it looks like they might have 5 guys. It looks like they have 5 guys.
Whoa, no, this definitely didn't have 5 guys.
Are we talking about pizzerias and hamburger joints now?
Yeah.
5 guys, 3 guys. What?
I'm actually trying to see, but I mean, it was. I mean, they had all the countries. You could be all the countries. I don't know if yours had that, Joe, but
yeah, I think I think you could be a country, right? It wasn't NHL teams; it was countries, I believe.
I don't know. Babbles was really, really big into Nintendo.
We don't mention Babbles on the show.
you know, looking at this now, Joe, it looks like there's like there's Yeah, you're right. It was 4 guys.
Oh.
And it looks like there's a fat guy. Yeah, it looks like a fat guy.
Well, 100% a fat guy, because I'm telling you, the fat guys I love to use because you could not get the puck from them. They would be slow as shit, but you could not check them.
I'm watching this now. It's pretty funny. You know what? The fat guy just levels somebody.
You know what? To this day, scouts still use the same premise.
I think those were the Flyers in the 80s, the fat guys, right?
We need more fat guys.
The Rangers could use a couple fat guys right now.
Well, Jacques Lestrap and his fat pigs, the Devils, in 94.
Yeah.
Pigs. Well, not to get off subject, but Rangers are probably not going to make the playoffs, but God, I'm enjoying watching this team.
They're going to make it. They're going to make it.
And it's more fun when, you know, I'd rather have the young guys playing and, you know, you might lose some, but, you know, to what they used to do, get all the, thank God for the salary cap. That saved the Rangers from getting all these old players who were like 33, 34 past their prime.
The way I look at it, very simple. They had goaltender can steal a game. They did it the other night with Pittsburgh. No one wants to see them. No
Ernie,
one wants to see them.
What do you think about Rangers this season?
They look great. Barry Beck and Duguay.
Durant Duguay. Pulling it out. Look at Ernie.
Now it's because he owns Sassans.
Ernie, who's your favorite goalie on the Rangers?
Oh, what's a lemon?
Snyder just almost wasted his beautiful Knob Creek.
No, not yet.
He's hiding it. Hold on. Let me hide a little more, Doctor.
Here come the kids.
Hide it. Get in my belly. All right, so we're only we're 75 minutes in. We're only pick number 5. All right, Bill. Number 4. What do you got?
Oh, hold on. Let me pull up my list because I got my looking at video games over here that we talked about.
For some reason, I picture Billy in front of like a giant screen, like in War Games, like in the movie War Games, with all the stuff on. Like, you know, he's looking up Nintendo hockey over here. He's got Intellivison going over here.
He really should be hiding the alcohol right now, but get caught, Billy. Go ahead.
All right, so this is an television game. Tommy, I think you gave it away in the beginning when you said hello, but it was such a fun game to play, and it was one of the first games that had a voice in the game, that talked to you. And Eddie Romeo had it, and it was called B-17 Bomber.
Bell Electronics presents B-17 Bomber. Fighters 12 o'clock. Bandits 12 o'clock. Watch out.
Yeah.
And when you played that game, and as Tommy did it, he goes, B-17 Bomber. And when you and it would say,
what? Is that Watch Out for Flack? Is that?
Yeah. Watch for Flack.
Watch out for Flack. I was always like, what the hell is Flack?
I gotta go something like, you know, you thought you gotta go to the dentist for it. You know, I got some flack in my teeth.
Yeah, I was playing B-17 Bomber last night. I got old flack all over me.
Oh, it's unbelievable. The Air Force back then, they used to be sitting there brushing their teeth when they were being attacked. They were so scared.
But it was it was a fun game. I kind of like those games where you would blow things up. When I got later systems, like those aircraft games where you would dogfighting and stuff like that. But it was just so funny because it was so exciting. It spoke, it had words. None of the games had words. And looking up and trying to learn more about the game, Intellivison made 5 games that had voice, right? So you got this add-on thing to plug in, and they only gave you like 5 extra games with it. But it was fun. You got in your plane and you bombed the Germans. I mean, what more fun?
Do you guys remember Greg Prosser having a game that the board went in circles and you looked to the top of the periscope and you had to drop the little weights? It was like a little plane, but the board turned. And you
like a board game?
It was like that concept, but it was a board game. And the board would turn, it would rotate, and you'd look to the periscope on the top, and then you'd hit, and you would release like these little bombs, and these like you try to hit the holes as the board's spinning. No?
I don't remember it.
All right. I'm gonna hide the alcohol.
Let's play Hide the Alcohol.
So again, my number 4 pick, B-17 bomber, lock it in.
It's locked. Tommy this is about the time Tommy gets confused with the numbering system.
No, I'm good.
All right, Doctor, what do you got? Number 4.
Number 4. Okay, I'm going with Odyssey 2.
Yay.
My good buddy over here in the right-hand corner, not to you guys maybe, but at home, but Ernie, by the way, I still have your Odyssey 2 from Dawn's house.
Oh, my.
It's all cleaned up with all the games, all ready to go for you. It's in my garage. It's all cleaned up and ready to go. So
You'll never see it again, Ernie.
You'll never see it again.
He hasn't seen it in 25 years. I don't know why he did that. But anyway, 1981, Quest for the Rings. Odyssey 2.
I don't remember Odyssey 2.
You would die. Good reason for that.
I first remember Bobby Woodruff had that, and then Ernie got it.
Right.
And going over to Bobby's house and playing different games, and then Ernie got it. We can go to Ernie's house anytime, so we didn't go to Bobby's anymore to play that game. But
the Changeling was it was a board game that accompanied the video, and you went in. You could pick out to be a changeling, a warrior, and a wizard, right, Aaron? The 3 of them. You pick out one of the 3.
Yeah.
Oh, phantom instead of changeling, right? Yeah. So you just had to get these. You had to fight the spiders, whatever monsters were on the screen, and it's a really cool game. Really cool.
But it was
game.
another like a Dungeons and Dragons type game.
Yes. Yep. Yes, I was obsessed with that. And to add, this is why why people picked on him, because the Odyssey 2 football game he had, Odyssey 2, we needed his football. He had the only football on the block. So we asked him for his football, and he came, and he knew we didn't have an Odyssey 2, none of us. He came to the door with Odyssey 2 football.
Yeah, that's the reason. I'm sure.
That's right. And Joe, you know what the kicker was? You know why he couldn't come out and play football that day? He had a splinter in his foot.
I could see that.
I don't know what type of memory you got after 40 years. I don't remember those.
Oh, me and Tommy remember that story like it was yesterday.
Yeah. I remember the splinter in my head right here.
Oh.
I remember the story of Ernie. Didn't you hurt your foot when we were at Wildwood or something? And then he forced Greg to put a cast on him, didn't he? Didn't he go to he went to the doctor's like 10 times, kept going back. I need another x-ray. I say it's broken. My friend Greg read the x-ray, and he says it's broken. Put a cast on it.
I heard the doctor want to put a cast around his head, but he settled for his foot.
The worst part is when I couldn't take it anymore, and I had cut it off with a knife, the cast. And then I went to the doctors and said, "Look what I did," and he threw me out of the office.
Yeah, of course, because you tortured the poor guy to put it on you, and then you realize, you know what? It's not broken. I'm cutting it off.
Here's the best part. When he got thrown out of the office, he fell down the stairs and hurt his foot again. He had to find another doctor in the network.
All right,
so
Aaron.
Ozzy 2, before we move on, they had really cool, they had a voice thing like in television.
I can't picture the system.
Odyssey 2 was the only system back then that actually had a keyboard. It kind of looked like a computer.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't even picture it.
Yeah, it's a really cool game. Awesome.
Ernie, what do you got? Number 4.
My number 4 is Intellivison, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, number 4. I'm surprised it didn't go higher.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so great though. The way when you're going through the cave that you can't see the rest of the cave until you get there. I mean, that's the way it really is. If you were in Dungeon and Dragon world.
Ernie, when was the last time you were in a cave?
34th Street.
And you hear the animal, you would hear the monster, but you don't see it. Oh, it's such a great game.
It's like Ernie takes his glasses off entering Snyder's house. He can't see, and he knows the monster's in there.
Whoa. You mean the playground cave on 34th Street?
Oh.
Animal House.
Yeah, that's a little more like it. Yeah. No, Ernie, wasn't there another television game, Ernie, that Eddie had that had the dragon in the middle? Really cool graphics when you walk through.
I can't think of it.
Yeah, it's weird because a lot of these platforms, the original games actually got to use the, I guess, whatever the memory is on these games. They got more advanced.
Right.
With the same console. They got better at using what they had. So I remember something by Eddie Romeo. I think Wizards and Warriors or something like that. Or The Serpent, something like that. It was really in-depth, really cool graphics.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember Advanced D&D. I don't remember the one you're talking about.
You don't remember the regular D&D because you were in diapers again.
No, I had a television. I was like 3 at this time.
Oh, that game was so great though, wasn't it?
What?
It was fantastic.
Oh, what a great game that was.
All right, so I'm going to go a little newer. It's not that new. It's still ancient for the normal people out there, but for you guys, it'll be a little newer. To me, this is when games really started to get good, like when it started to get closer to the arcade. Obviously, Atari and television, even Odyssey stuff, it was still, subpar graphics. But when ColecoVision came out, ColecoVision,
game changer.
It had it was like a combination of the Intellivision and Atari joystick because it had the full controller, but instead of the disc, it had like a mini Atari disc on the bottom of it. So the controller was different.
With another keypad.
And again, I don't another key. I don't really remember like the graphic numbers, and I'm sure ColecoVision probably was double the graphics of the other two, but I don't remember the numbering system. Maybe I'll look it up, when we're done. Maybe Billy can look it up as we're talking with his giant computer that's in front of him. But the graphic system in ColecoVision really raised the bar on everything. When ColecoVision came out, I'm still young. ColecoVision is probably early 80s, maybe 83, something around that area. I'm still super young. So ColecoVision is really when I started really loving video games. Atari and television, I'm still a little young for. And this game is going to sound ridiculous, but this was my favorite game on ColecoVision. And it really was Mario before Mario. And it was called, I don't remember the full name, but it was Smurfs. The Smurf Adventure, I think it was called.
Yep.
And it was like Mario before Mario. It had the same type of graphics, the same type of, deal where you would walk through and the new screen would come and a new screen would come and a new screen would come. It was just so great. The control and the graphics, and it was a lot of fun. You guys remember that?
I got ColecoVision. I had the ColecoVision, and then Mike Leone got it afterwards. And
did Smurf come with it? Smurf might have came with it, right? These video systems usually came with one game.
That would be right up your age, Allie, because that game was like for little kids. It was hysterical.
Yeah. Well, I was a little kid.
Yeah, I don't want to go into it too much, but yeah, ColecoVision was it changed everything, and I can't say anymore because it's one of my picks. So I'll be quiet.
Yeah, I remember, Tom, you had that, and it was a game changer as far as the graphics went on that system. I won't name games, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. It even
had like the two buttons on the sides, and it had I can picture the controller. I mean, I feel like my hand cramps up as soon as I think of it.
It had a numbered keypad.
Yep. Well, Intellivision had that too, the numbered keypad, right?
Right, and it also had a 2600, an Atari 2600 adapter.
Oh,
which was really cool.
What would
that played the 2600 game?
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Yipper.
And it also had a steering wheel. You could buy the steering wheel and play driving games.
Turbo, right? Turbo.
Yeah.
Turbo was right. Yes. It even had the pedal.
Yeah, the pedal, the gear. Yeah, that was all good stuff, man. They had the other, I stole them from my ex-girlfriend. It had to come up sooner or later.
Which one?
I'm not going to mention it.
No, we'll call her Nicole today.
All right.
My Nicole.
I just got to say this. This relationship has been so far removed that I've probably been killed by her kids in Fortnite. Okay. That's how far things have been, all right, in the future. But she loaned me the super controllers for ColecoVision, which had Rocky 3, Clover Lang and Rocky, the baseball. There were a lot of games, and she never got them back. Very sorry about that, honey. But great game. And I'll elaborate more. I have my little footnotes, but yeah.
All right, we're over 3 hours in, guys. We're up to number 4. So come on, Bill. Let's speed it up. What do you got? Number 3.
Number 3. Okay, so gonna stick with Intellivison. This game was one of the first simulation games. I loved it, and I think I liked a lot of games that I didn't have the system when I went to somebody's house. I just couldn't wait to go over there and play them. But Utopia. Which was a simulation game. So basically, two people would play against each other. You'd have your island, the other person would have their island, and you just have to farm and fish, and you'd make money and be able to build things. But some of the things that would happen during the game is you could be out fishing, and a pirate ship can attack your boat, not attack the other guy's boat, and he was able to build more stuff, get more points. And he could buy a PT boat and blow up your boat. That would slow down your fishing, but it was just a lot of fun, and it had storms. So you'd plant your crops and you'd try to build a village and build homes, and then hurricane came and wiped you out. So it was kind of fun, and it was a number of rounds that you could play. You could determine how many seasons or rounds you were going to play. But I found it fun. I like those simulation type games. When I was older, I bought a game. It was you build your own railroad, so it was on a computer. But this was the first one of its time, and then looking through it, it was one of the first sim games that they had, and it got inducted to the Video Hall of Fame and things like that. And they did mention, I think it might be in the Xbox library, they have a version of the game in there. I haven't looked into that yet. I asked my kids to do it, but just like they won't do the watch, they're not going to look up video games for me either. So.
Yeah, I'm sure that's just what they want to do. Look up video games for Dad.
Yeah, ancient ones. And they had fun. When I was showing them some of the games I played, they were just shaking their heads how did you even play that? I mean, that was just
I asked my father to download marbles for me once, and he was just like...
If I could chime in for a moment.
My dad asked me to download marbles for him. I was like, nah, I can't.
Oh, breaking news. Ernie's chiming in.
I hate you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I knew it.
I feel it. First, yeah, I don't know Utopia. I don't remember it at all, but obviously Ernie does.
Ernie,
Yes.
well, do you want to wait or? Because you can actually play the computer.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it playing the computer by itself, and it was cool. The hurricane would spin just like on the weather.
Right.
On the weather channel,
Wow,
would
I don't know this game at all. Wow.
Yeah.
Because
It was a good game.
I'm not going to make another comment about your age. I'm going to be quiet.
And that's my number 3.
Very nice. All right, Doctor, what do you got?
Intellivision, 1979. Hockey.
Yeah. I knew you were going with it.
Tommy, I hate you.
Here's the best. It is. This is when playing Intellivision in Eddie Romero's house got better. He moved it down the basement, so we could actually sit there and have fun. We used to have to sit in the living room, and Doris's mom, God rest her soul, would come out and go, "Hey, how much fun out?" So the thing that made this game so great.
Oh, I know.
Is when you fatigued the other goalie with bombardment of shots.
Yeah, right.
When that goalie went down and they get back up, you were like, he's down. He's down. It's great. I mean, the adrenaline. Besides everything else, that, to me, that was
I remember being able to trip the guy, too. You could trip him, right?
Yes. He'd turn into a pretzel.
It was awesome. He could, on the ice. You'd see him. He was just slide on the ice.
I just remember being so excited.
Did that game have fighting in it, or no, it didn't?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think. What was the first fight? Was it the fat hockey guys, the fighting, or was it Blades?
Circle.
I think
that Blades of Steel.
Or was that Blades of Steel? Blades of Steel definitely had the fighting because they even had the blood. I remember we used to we used to
close up. There used to be a
close
close-up
up.
of them. Right.
You see blood flying.
Right.
Ernie looks very upset. I don't know what's going on up there, Ernie.
I don't know.
I don't have much of a list left.
Ernie, listen, when you're on the top of the show, this is what happens. These idiots steal your picks. Our names are on the marquee, and they take our picks, Ern.
That's why they come in with more than 5.
Yeah. Got to come in with an audible.
What do you got, Ern? Number 3.
I got a tie for number 3. Intellivision hockey and Activision ice hockey.
Oh.
I don't know Activision ice hockey.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, it was kind of funny. Was it like 1-on-1?
It was 2-on-2. But the greatest thing about it was the puck would go back and forth on the stick. And when you press the button, it would show what angle it's going to go.
Right.
When you hit
I remember that
game. The check was.
So now wait, Activision was another system?
It was north to south, 1-on-1, Ernie, I believe.
Activision was like a company, like that made that hockey, right?
Made games for Atari initially.
Gotcha. And, but what was this one for? This hockey was for Atari?
Yeah, this was an Atari game.
Yeah, Pitfall was made for Atari. That was Activision.
Kaboom,
Activision. Right. There was a lot of games. There was also another company, Image, Demon. They had a whole line of cool stuff. But go ahead, Ern. I'll shut the hell up.
What else I gotta say? I don't like it just because tripping was allowed in both games, but that was a big part of it.
Tripping was. I remember tripping was my favorite part.
Yeah.
And you used to get called for a penalty for tripping sometimes, right?
Sometimes in Intellivision hockey, they'll put you in a penalty box.
When you hit them, then they flop all the way up in the air and land.
I don't remember the graphics being that good.
No, but I remember what Billy said. Like they would land and like crumble on the ice.
Yeah, for like an instant.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Me and Billy spent hours with the Intellivision hockey. I remember.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah.
But Activision is both games are great. I can't decide which one I like better.
I remember like there was some like weird things with like the Intellivision hockey. Like we remember was playing one time. The guy was in the penalty box. Someone got checked and the guy just slid out onto the ice. His body just slid out. He didn't get up. I don't know what happened to the game, but he was in the middle of the ice. Like we were laughing. We couldn't figure out what happened to him.
Great stuff.
My kid has some glasses with springs on them with the eyeballs. I guess one fell off. Right on the floor.
That looks like your regular eyeball. Put it back in. I can't even tell the difference. Do you have another? Oh, if you have another one, that would be great. You got to do a whole show like that.
All right. We'll see after the break. When we get 2 hours into this one, we'll take a break.
All right. So, again, I'll show my age again. I'm going to go a little bit newer. Again, when I say newer, I mean at least 30 years old. This is, again, just like you guys, big Dungeons and Dragons fan, big fantasy type fan. This was my all-time favorite fantasy game. Took me months to clear. It had a giant map that came with it. It was the very first Final Fantasy. I don't know if I believe it was for Super Nintendo, which was like the competition of what Sega was at the time too. So Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo had like the up graphics from regular Nintendo. Final Fantasy, again, it was so, again, looking back, the graphics are ridiculous, but back then you would build your party, you would have, people, you would gather your different party members along the way, whether it was a barbarian or a sorcerer or whatever it was, and you'd complete these tasks, and you'd have this giant map, like a physical map, not even just on the screen, that you would have to make sure you go to all the different islands to complete all these different tasks. It was, to me, my favorite fantasy game of all time like that.
When I was living with Dennis, I had, I forget what the system was, but I completed 7. And that was a little different. That was like a storyline where you got to know the characters. And
that might have even been, Billy, for PlayStation maybe, right? Like the first PlayStation?
I don't know. I don't remember. But it's a great game. I mean, but I completed 7. But that's when I was living with Dennis, so.
Yeah, obviously, I think they still make them for Xbox and all that. They're like, the graphics are insane now. But I remember that first one I was completely addicted to, and I would spend 3, 4, 5 hours straight just playing it to try to complete these tasks. You'd have to go find the vial of distortion on the Isle of blah blah blah. It would take you 9 hours to get there. It was crazy, but it was great. All right.
Well. Yep.
All right, Bill. What do you got? Number 2.
13.
Now
Number
we're
13.
moving. Yes, we're
13, right?
Tommy doesn't understand this concept, but we're going down.
Oh, we're going down.
Yeah,
all
number
right.
2.
My list is going up, so I'm good.
So based on what you're hearing here, Ernie had like multiple systems. Like he had everything. And this one game was great. So he had the Commodore 64 computer, 64-bit technology. It was incredible. When he first got it, me and Ernie spent about 2 days typing in a game to play that put words up in a hockey game. And it would just 2 days we typed in the code, and it would come out and say, Billy, pass to Tommy. Tommy, pass to Billy. Tommy scores. Right? And that's all it did. It took us 2 days to type the code in. Right? We would sit there, me and him typing, and he couldn't save it.
We were programmers.
Right? So we were programmers for a couple of days, and we couldn't save it. But he did get a game. Finally, he got the floppy disk drive where you could play games. But he had this game called Summer Games, which was the Olympics.
Oh, I remember that.
Right, and it had, looking at the list, pole vaulting, platform diving, 4x4 relay. It had the whole Olympics. And we used to go to Ernie's room and play. Now, Ernie's room was about the size of a shoebox. And I remember one day it was cold.
You couldn't even shut the door, right?
No, you couldn't shut the door, right?
Yeah.
And one day it was freezing outside, and Ernie's parents, I don't know what they would think, could let us come in. And there was like 8 of us. and we all couldn't fit in the room to play the game. Like some people had to wait in the hallway, right? So to play, and like a lot of people could play, right? Ern? I mean, there was like 8. You could put 8 people in the Olympics, right? And you had to represent different countries. But I just remember playing that, and it was just a lot of fun. And like it was just fun because it was so many people can play. And you would go on the diving game, and you'd either get a 10 or a 0. Like, that was like
Right.
the score everybody would get, because if you didn't time it right, you did a cannonball, they'd give you a 0, or
you were either fat or skinny, no middle in between.
right. So it's just
Wow. Yeah, I remember. Go ahead, Ern.
When it was your turn, somebody had to leave my room.
But yeah, I mean, remember playing, like all of us were there, the Dragos, Michael Leone, and Tommy, and all of us, like you said, it was just hysterical because it was just like all squashed in this room, and then they had to wait in the hall.
Commodore 64. Well, I remember that, and that my brother had that. And again, I didn't think about this probably in the last 40 years. My brother did something. It was the first time we had modems, and you would literally have to take your phone and put it on this device, the modem, and you'd be able to connect to this quasi-internet back then. And this is mid-'80s. And he did something that we actually had someone from like the government or something calling us. I don't remember what it was. Like he didn't even know what he did, but it was something. I got to ask him what exactly happened. I remember him getting into like big trouble.
It wasn't the Olympic Committee, was it?
I don't think it was the fat, skinny Olympic Committee.
Wait a minute. Are you saying the movie War Games is a true story?
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, it wasn't as big as War Games, but he did something that he tapped into the wrong thing, or yes, but it was like, would you like to play a game?
I did read about an aborted missile strike on Iran. I don't know if that had anything to do with
it. He'll watch this episode, but I have to find out exactly what he did, and I'll put it in the comments or something on YouTube.
Okay, because see all the traffic lights going on and off on Flatbush. It's piling up.
Commodore 64. Yeah. So all the games on floppy disk, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yep.
I remember we used to have like stickers and handwritten, what the game was.
Yeah, and then you had to buy a joystick. I don't know if it came with it, or you probably had to buy it, right, to play the games. I don't think it came with one.
Yeah, the Atari joystick some would fit into it.
Me and Ernie were playing one game. It was a flight simulator. It took us 6 months just to get it to come off the ground.
You're like the Wright brothers. Hey, we're flying.
I'm jumping off the roof now. I'm happy. Let's go.
That was also the beginning of bootlegging games, of copying games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Well, I think Ernie should be mentioned for writing a program for Escape from Madison Place on the Commodore 64. So,
God, I forgot.
Ernie. Kudos.
Did he? So, Ernie, just so you know, you and Billy were programmers back then. Can you imagine you actually followed through with that? You'd be billionaires right now, probably.
Yeah.
Billy wasn't a programmer.
Yeah. I sat there with Ernie and typed it in, but it took all of, we gave up programming in 2 days.
Oh, I mean, if the conditions, the if-then conditions. Yeah. If this happens, then this happens.
Yeah, we literally sat there, and it was so funny. So after we did it, we hit the button, the thing runs, and then we realized we have no way of saving this. It's like that's it. It's over. Ernie left his computer on for like 3 days, and like, and it was just so funny because literally it hit the button and like 5 lines of text would go up, and that's it. It's over.
We had a ball doing it, right?
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
All right.
Fun, but
wiped out.
What do you got, Doctor? Number 2.
All right. So where are we? All right. So we're going with ColecoVision. So it was coming out, and I'm not sure. Maybe the guys can help me with this. Not you, because you were a little boy. But the Coleco was not good at merchandising. All right, because I think either the year before they screwed up with the Cabbage Patch dolls. And when Christmas happened, everything was so backlogged, no one got a Cabbage Patch doll. So it was probably like the worst Christmas for me because I came down the stairs and I opened up the first one and it was the Atari 2600 adapted to ColecoVision. Then it was Avenger. Then it was Donkey Kong. Then it was all these games I'm opening up. And then my mom's sitting there completely upset. We couldn't get you to ColecoVision.
Wow. So you had all the games.
Oh,
I had to wait 2 months. 2 months after. That's how backlog it was. It was unbelievable.
It's like getting empty bottles of alcohol.
No. But anyway,
it's close to it.
anyway, guys are funny. So I have a game, and it was Venture. It pulled it in. Atari, like I said, I was tortured with because Atari 2600 had come out. ColecoVision had made ColecoVision tapes for 2600. Donkey Kong was horrible. Everything that they put out was horrible. And Venture was like one of my favorites. I love that stupid smile. They went from a box to a smiley face, and
it was the smiley face with the arrow, right?
Yeah.
You would shoot the arrows.
Yeah, you had to
arrows out of your ear.
Right.
Yes.
And the music would play, and you go into
Great.
different dungeons and shoot. So that was really cool, man. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
But,
that's my
tortured
first
from
honorable
ColecoVision.
mention. Yep, love that game.
Yeah, I was tortured from ColecoVision. That hurt at Christmas.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Christmas, you're opening up the games too. That's even almost worse.
The difference between our mothers, Joe. My mother just said, "I can't do it." Your mother would have went out and held someone up for you.
Yeah, she would have taken a knife to the guy at Toys R Us and said, "Listen, you're giving me a ColecoVision."
Exactly. I heard she's good with a knife.
It's funny you mentioned those Cabbage Patch dolls. My mother worked at this like convenience type store called Star City or something. It was on Rockaway Parkway, and it was such a big thing. I remember her coming home and people had gotten into fights over these Cabbage Patch dolls, and she put a few aside for my family. So she was like, family members, hey, could you get one of those Cabbage Patch dolls? She probably could have made millions, well, maybe not at that time, but they were such a hot item to get, and it was so hard.
Coleco dropped the ball 2 years in a row. It was Cabbage Patch dolls, and then it was ColecoVision. But
yeah, but that stuff still happens today. Like I know guys that are like still big into Xboxes and PlayStation 5 and whatever the hell they're up to. And once Christmas comes, not only can you not get them, but if you go on like eBay or something, they're thousands and thousands of dollars to try to get them. So it's even worse today because now everyone buys them just to resell them. Back then,
Right.
the Cabbage Patch dolls were really legitimately hot. So people were buying them for their kids. Now everyone just gobbles them up to resell it.
right, remember Wii?
Yeah.
I spent $600 on that in downtown Manhattan, some shady basement with some guy.
Oh, I bought a lot of stuff on Canal Street.
Right. Well, no, downtown. I'm talking at like the Diamond District area.
Yeah.
And my wife played it once. She owes me $575. I figured playing it once, $25.
Cecile.
The thing about it is, I was watching a show. Is these guys have designed programs that go out and are able to find these things as soon as they're released. There was a group in Europe or something, and they were able to get their hands on like 3,000 Xboxes.
Yeah, like they have these bots, they call them. They just buy everything, all at once.
They just buy everything. So if me and Ernie would have stuck with it on the Commodore 64, we could have been...
Yeah, you guys could have been writing the bot codes right now, and you guys would be... Oh, two idiots.
Joey does it with comics.
All right, where the hell were we? Ernie, number 2.
One big edit.
My number 2, one of the most important games of all time. Billy brought it up before. Intellivison Utopia. The grandparent of all these strategy games like Sims. Just such an important game. You would get so damn excited.
When you take a break?
Well, we don't have a break anymore. I sprang for the expensive Zoom, you son of a bitch.
We keep on going. No
I really can't break tonight, guys. I have to do something at 8:15. So let's come on. Let's just fight. You needed to pour another drink.
Sorry, no, I'm fine with that. I gotta pee. Go ahead.
Go pee. Yes.
Hours to get home tonight.
Go pee. Go pee. Ernie's talking about Utopia. Go pee.
You interrupted Ernie's big debut.
Yeah.
No,
I'm sorry. Before I was rudely interrupted. Go ahead, Ernie.
I guess Carmine is right, Ernie.
Tom, raise your hand, Tom, if you got to speak, okay?
Oh, Ernie's talking. Ernie's talking. Let me go take a shit.
No, okay, so you want me to keep talking about Utopia? That it's
go ahead. Tell me more.
As Billy pointed out, how it's like in the National Registry of the most important games in history. It started the whole real-time strategy thing that never existed before Utopia. All the Sims games, everything goes back to Utopia. It's and it's so weird looking back because it's a real thinking game. That we were kids and everything else was action back then. The game was so ahead of its time.
So what was it like? Like the kids play Minecraft today? Was it like that?
No, you were God, like Sims. You buy factories and food for the people on the land and stuff.
Right. So no action at all. It was like building stuff. Wow. Yeah. I that's probably why I don't remember it. I just was never into stuff like that.
Well, it's a great game.
Right.
It's a good game if you had to go to the bathroom because you could just start things rolling, go to the bathroom, come back, and pick it up.
It was so exciting when a hurricane would touch. Wasn't there a monster too? Oh my God!
There was pirate ships and rebels.
Right.
Hurricanes and no monsters.
No
like Godzilla.
No. I think there was a drought and stuff like that. And
Tommy's had Godzilla in his.
Godzilla.
No, that's another Sims game where they have, and I don't know which one it is. They actually have the monsters appear as one of the natural disasters.
Well, anytime someone steals one of Ernie's picks, I'm happy. So I'm glad about that.
Yeah, Ernie's got two stolen today. Wow, that's tough.
Yeah, I think. Oh, 3?
Adventure as well.
Oh yeah, right.
Wow.
Maybe number 1 too. Hold on, we still got time.
Maybe we should try to figure out Ernie's number 1 so we can steal it before he.
That's no fun.
So my number 2 again. Obviously, I'm glad none of mine are getting stolen because mine are all newer than you guys. So my number 2 is Nintendo again. Again, I'm not that young with Nintendo, but Nintendo was pretty big for me. I gotta go. Still one of the most fun games ever. Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Oh yeah.
Obviously Tyson was so big, but you had all the different characters. You had, I remember Super Macho Man because Macho Man Randy Savage was so big. I remember Super Macho Man and King Hippo and all the different characters. You had to figure out that once you got the pattern of how to beat each guy, you could get it. But then to try to beat Tyson was almost impossible. And eventually you get it done, but it was so challenging to beat. Once you got past a new guy, it was so gratifying. I beat King Hippo, yes! And then the new guy would come and he would just destroy you because you'd have no idea the pattern of what to do. Duck, hit twice, duck, hit. You know what I mean? It was just so much fun.
It was like fighting Ernie. It sounds very much like that.
Well, as far as Greg tells the story, Ernie got one punch in, and poor 5-year-old Greg was out cold.
That's it.
I watched Billy fight Ernie. There was no ducking.
Wait, what's the story? Tell me.
I don't even know what happened. We went there was a little shed behind my house. It used to be my sister's.
Uh-oh.
And we painted the wall red with yellow flames, called it Hell's Angels Club, and we go in there. It was a spy club. And whatever happened, I know the Beatles were playing, and Billy just put him in a headlock and started pounding his face.
It was an accident.
We were so scared shitless to F with Billy at that point because he went there where none of us went.
What was playing? Was it Helter Skelter, Billy? What was it?
I don't know what transpired. I just lost it, and Ernie's head was in the way, and it just
Ernie.
happened.
I remember. Well, this was
oh,
only 4 years ago.
We were mortified at Billy after that. We were scared to fight him because he went there. You didn't punch your friends in the face back then. You hit each other in the stomach, wrestle around.
Right. A punch in the face was big back then.
Someone
I
said
didn't-
Ernie beat up Billy. Ernie knocked me out.
Yeah. See, he learned. He learned what to do.
Ernie had to make himself out to be a contender, so he had to knock me out to get to Billy again.
See?
It
was like
boys
dating
are so different than girls. Can you imagine? Boys would punch each other in the face, knock each other out, and play hockey the next day.
Yeah.
I'd
right.
rather that than meow.
Absolutely. Talking behind each other's backs, and girls are the worst. Forget it.
We're not talking
100%.
20 years later. They don't remember what the fight is.
No idea. They just know they hate each other. No idea what the fight even was.
You got to look it up.
We played from college. Car bombs.
Let me go back to my diary and see why I'm mad at you.
All right. We are up to number 1. Let's recap Billy's picks so far. So we got number 5, asteroids. Number 4, look out for flak, B-17 bomber. Number 3, utopia, or as Ernie would pronounce it, utopia. I'm not sure.
There's no F in there.
It's when the hurricane hit. He went, ooh, utopia.
Number 2, Commodore 64, Summer Games. Billy, number 1, what do you got?
All right, so this goes back, if you know, many years ago, I tried to decide to get in shape. So I started riding. I bought an exercise bike, and I would ride this exercise bike all the time. And I lost a lot of weight. It was in the best shape of my life. And I just remember running into people and Greg Prosser asking my cousin if I was on coke because I lost so much weight. Now, meanwhile, I was in the best shape of my life. But the game that I attributed to, and I forget what year it was, but it was EA Sports, NHL, I believe it was 2000.
Vopak to his own zone.
And the fun thing about that game at the time is you could make your own team and name your own players. So of course the whole team was all of us. And you also had to be a general manager and try to spend money responsibly. And I think my payroll was $300 million. Right. And I was voted the worst GM, but we won the Stanley Cup. I think I played the full 80 game season. So I'd ride the bike. I'd play 3 games at a time, and we won this. We won the Stanley Cup, and we had a $300 million payroll, but we scored like 9,000 goals. It's crazy.
What system was this for? Was it for PlayStation?
It was on the PlayStation, the first PlayStation, which is in my background. And riding an exercise bike, as anybody know, before Peloton, which makes it a lot of fun now, but it was boring. And when I first started doing it, I was like, oh my God, that's 5 minutes. I was like out of my head. But the bike was in my room. I had the TV, and I was like, oh, let me start playing video games. And I play the games, ride the bike. Before I know it, I scored 7 goals and rode the bike for an half hour.
Name some of the guys on. I remember this like it was yesterday. Name some of the guys on your team, Billy.
Well, we had Manny Mexico, because you had to put a last name in it. And we had you were Joe Drummer. I mean, Ernie was just Ernie. There's no need, no other name needed. Dean was on the team, and Tommy, and it was. I think it was probably like the first couple of years that we did the Hamptons.
And I'll post the picture. Billy was about 100, soaking wet, maybe 110.
Right.
Around this time.
And like I said, it felt great. I mean, it was just, it was a good way to occupy your mind when you were doing something you really want to do. And, it was just fun, and then we won every award. At the end of the season, they had an award ceremony. It was such a great game that they put that into it where, I mean, if you really did it and a group of guys did it, you could have a draft. and draft NHL players, and you could play against each other. They did have where you could plug it in. That was like when the internet was new, and you could hook it up to the internet. It was not easy, but you could. Not like today. I mean, the games today are just crazy. I mean, all of you probably know my kids are playing against people, and at 3:00 in the morning they're yelling and screaming.
Billy, you have 3 daughters.
No, I don't have 3 daughters.
We do, Bill. He thinks we do.
Well, I mean, but it is funny, when they're playing. Like, my nephew, I walk into my son's room to yell at him to go to bed, and my nephews are going, "Hey, Uncle Billy," it's like 3:00 in the morning. Go to bed, everybody, go to bed.
Can you imagine we had like over the internet playing each other as kids? But I mean, that's a little bit of the drawback, because you wouldn't have stories like kids waiting outside Ernie's room to play. They would just everyone would just be home.
We had walkie-talkies. We had walkie-talkies. And I was hunted me out in the house.
I was just going to say that. It was the irony of that was that was our equivalent. So I lived next door to Tommy. Tommy was in the middle, and then there was Mike Leone. We had these cheap walkie-talkies. I couldn't talk to Mike Leone directly, but Tommy was the go-between. So I could talk to Tommy, and Mike Leone could talk to Tommy. So we would talk to, I would talk to Michael through Tommy. I think Tommy had 2 walkie-talkies, hold them together. I could talk to Mike.
I did. You're right. Yes.
So it was kind of.
Are you talking to yourself again?
So that's what we had. We didn't have what they have today. So anyhow, that is my number one.
I almost brought it up before, Billy, but I had a feeling that was going to be on your list. I didn't know if it was going to be number 1, but that's a great story. I remember you every night calling me, "We won again."
It was so funny because they had the other teams, and all the teams played. Like they would simulate all the other games.
For the season.
Right. We were 82-0. We didn't lose one game.
Not bad.
Yeah, we were pretty good then. We had a great team.
There was no school system. People lost their pensions because of how much money bankrupt the city.
Bill, but here's what I love too. It occupied his time so much, but he was slaughtering teams, probably 17-0, and we were 82-0. Doesn't that get boring after a while?
Not in a bit.
Was this before 94?
No, this is 2000, 2001.
Yeah. This is before 94. This is way after.
So you had a taste of blood. Look at you.
No, and
hold on, don't give anything away.
The graphics were pretty good on these games too. Like compared to, earlier games. I mean, and guys could make pretty skilled moves and some passes. I mean, it was at that time. It was like, wow, this is amazing. Like when you watch games on TV. I mean, now it's even better. I tried to play. My son got the game like 2 years ago. He had NHL, whatever that version was. I was lost. I couldn't. He beat me like 20-0. I was like, and then I was like, I was gonna, I was homesick one day, and he had to go to school, and I tried to get on his system, but I tried to practice, but he had a damn password on it. I couldn't get on.
You know what I did? Change the locks.
No, I was trying to
get on the bike again, Bill. Get on the bike and start training.
Yeah,
change the locks.
We have a Peloton now, so we'll see. I can't play games. So anyway, that's my number 1, and I'm locking it in.
All right, Doctor, he's locked. Let's go over what do you got? Here's the doctor's list so far. Number 5, Adventure. Number 4, On the Odyssey 2, Quest for the Rings. Number 3, Intellivison Hockey. Number 2, Venture for ColecoVision, I believe, because that was for Intellivision too, but the ColecoVision version is the one you said, right?
Yes.
And what do you got for number 1?
Oh boy, my favorite, Xbox One, The Hitman.
Caruso, you know where it is. Big mansion up in Sapienza, richest family on the coast.
As you know, I commute to New York every day, and I have to vent steam off when I come in the house. So I've been guilty of this. The game, you can act certain ways. Me, You can go around the back. You can dress up as an ice cream man. You can dress up as a mailman to infiltrate the house. I knock on the front door. Bring it on. The butler answers the door. It's pop in the head. Kill the waitress and kill everyone. And his body's just strewn out there. It's every person that cut me off on the way home from work is dead laying.
But what's the object of the game?
To kill the what you're getting paid to kill. Get to the one guy.
Gotcha.
You don't know this one?
No, I've never played an Xbox game in my life.
Well, it's on PS2, I guess.
No, I don't know any. The first PlayStation is about the last thing that I played. I played Wii with the kids and Nintendo Switch with the kids and stuff. But for me personally playing, I don't think I played anything after, PlayStation.
They rate you at the end of this game. You're a machine. You were through genetics. You were created. You were a killing machine, and you open up certain things. You go to Europe. You go to different places, and you got to kill the target. And it's whether it's piano wire, bazooka up the ass, whatever you got to do.
And you get to pick
the what?
The way you kill people.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Tells us a lot about you.
Tom,
really good at it. And no, I'm joking.
Tom, did you ever play Grand Theft Auto or any of those games? This is one of the funniest texts I ever got from my son. We were going to eat dinner, and he's ignoring me. So I text him on the phone. He's in his room. I said, "Dinner's ready. You hungry?" And his response was, "I'm taking down the drug lord. I'm good." That's the text I got. I'm like, okay.
There's a great game by Xbox 360, which is the Godfather, which combines that with taking over. You're in the movie with the characters. You are part of the movie. It's hysterical. You're the character, and they chase you through the city and everything like that. So, that's when I couldn't play this stuff anymore because my daughter came home and go, "Daddy, can I steal the cop car? I'll kill the cop."
Yeah.
And I just,
yeah. Can't imagine those games are good for the kids.
Yeah, no, that is.
No, and I didn't realize what they were like until I'm thinking, they don't say what it is. It's, yeah, we're playing GTA, and I'm like, stupid, whatever.
Right,
like,
you don't know what it is, right?
He goes, yeah. You know what kind of game that is? What? You could beat up hookers. I'm like, what? I'm like, what the hell's going on?
You know how many little bastards I kill every night now on Fortnite? 2 hours. You know why? Because I got the patience of a saint. I can go from bush to bush to bush to bush till it's down to 3 people, and I walk up behind them and go pop.
Oh, God.
Anyway, sorry, you had to hear that.
Ernie, here we go. Number 1. Here's your list so far, and you got a lot of these have been said already, of course. Number 5, Adventure. Number 4, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Number 3, tied Intellivision hockey and Activision hockey. Number 2, Topia. And number 1, Aaron, what do you got?
River Raid.
I don't know. River Raid. Wait,
I just want to know that whole big build-up, Joe. That big. Hey, what do we got? River Raid.
What? I don't know River Raid. What is it?
You're a little plane, but for some reason you can't fly. You're right above the water, and you gotta shoot everything, and just keep shooting before you crash or somebody shoots you.
What system, Ern?
Atari.
All of them.
Oh yeah.
I don't know River Raid at all.
I'm watching it now. It you have gas. It looks like you have gas.
Zaxxon, I remember.
It's the most addictive. Zaxxon was good, but this was such an addictive game.
Zaxxon was almost 3D because it had the shadow underneath.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember Zaxxon. That was good stuff.
River Raid. No, it's a great game. The build-up you can do without. Joey's build-up you could have did without.
And here it is, Ernie, number 1. River Raid.
River Raid. What was it? He's Sylvester Stallone now.
I think that's Carmine calling in. Who is that phone ringing?
Carmine won't come on, huh?
River Ray.
You guys, seriously, Billy especially, because you obviously are pulling up all these games. Obviously, I add clips of all these games.
Yeah.
You guys got to send me clips, please, of your picks if you can. Go on YouTube and trust me, there's clips of every game on there. Send me clips, please. Come on.
It's not my contract.
All right, you're getting edited out.
Here's the story. I mean, I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm watching River Raider, and it's fascinating.
Isn't it?
You fly this far above the water.
You do, actually.
You made it less interesting.
If you don't stay over the water, you actually crash into the land. That's how low you're flying.
Yeah. It looks pretty easy.
Now you swoop down and you kill targets along the river. So how's it going? You get as close as possible to the water and you shoot everything.
You might as well be another boat.
All right.
All right, so here we go. So mine so far, I had the Nintendo hockey with the fat, skinny, medium guys, number 5. Number 4.
I think you need a drum roll. I think you need a drum roll.
I can't do it while I'm reading my list. I'm not that multi.
Speak to help Ernie out. You embarrassed him with the build-up.
No, my build-up is good. I can't believe my number 1 was not your number 1, Doctor. Smurf, number 4.
I think I know what it's going to be.
Final Fantasy, number 1. Then I had Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, number 2. Then, my number 1. Hold on. Let's see if I can do it.
All right.
Hold on. I got the paper on the other. River Raid. No, of course. The game I've definitely spent the most hours playing in my lifetime. Beating Snyder, beating Babbles, beating everyone. Sega Hockey, 94.
Of course.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Now, was it 94? 94 was the one we played, or 92?
96. You never beat
No,
me in 96.
no, 96 was no good. I didn't like. I couldn't use my move in 96. They got rid of the cheese.
That's right.
So again, obviously, you guys know the game. Every trip we ever did, we used to go to Montreal for years. Every year, we'd take a trip to Montreal, or when we would go to Wildwood, or wherever we would go on vacation. We'd always bring our Sega Genesis, which, by the way, Doctor, I have it right here. By the way, just like you have Ernie's Odyssey.
We all paid for it. That's nice. You have it.
And no, but if you remember the first time we went to Montreal, we couldn't hook it up to the TV because they had the wacky Canadian connections. We had to go to find how to hook it up.
On a mission. On a mission.
So we would spend. It was too cold to go out. We would go to Montreal in the winter time for vacation. No idea why, but we would. And we would sit all day long in the hotel room and play Sega hockey, drinking, and
the shower routine.
Yes, right.
We didn't stay we didn't go to Canada to sit in the hotel room and play Genesis. We went there. That was a good way of getting everyone in the shower, rotating everyone out. We could start a league, like a playoff schedule.
Right. We would actually write up a full schedule and then by the end of the night or the end of the weekend, someone would win the cup.
Right.
Again, it was just so much fun doing tournaments like that. And we'd always have guys with us that really didn't know how to play, like the Gouch or Frankie or someone that had no idea how to play. And we would destroy them like 12-0, 14-0. And then it would always come down to the same few guys at the end of the trip. It was, again, so much fun. Sega Hockey, 94. I think I was always the Blackhawks. I would love Jeremy Roenick. Who would you be?
I was the Nordiques.
Yeah,
before we became the Avalanche.
They had, was Wah the goalie?
Believe so.
Yeah, he was tough. Yeah. Nice.
But that wasn't the cheese I used to use. But anyway.
All right, just because we're running out of time, let's give one quick honorable mention each. What do you got, Bill?
All right, so I don't know if it's really a video game, but I loved this game when I was younger. It was a handheld game, Mattel Football 2. Those games with the little dots. I would play that for hours. I remember it was a big item to get when I was younger. My uncle looked all over the place. At the time we bought it, I was probably, I don't know, 12 or 13, and it was like $100. Now you can get it for $10, and it plays like 4 other games. So that was my honorable mention.
What do you got,
Remember
Doctor?
the head-to-head? The head-to-head?
Yeah, the head, both sides, right? You could play, right?
Like came out the head-to-head. 93 hockey with the blood.
Yes. Oh, they took the blood away, right?
Blood away. And 2, I have to throw this in. It just came up when we were talking about a Guitar Hero, man. I think that is
Yes.
fantastic and addicting as hell. You take that thing out, it's unbelievable. I had such a good time with that Guitar Hero. I think that's like one of its kind too. So, since we're in a rush,
Ernie, what do you got?
I'm trying to choose one for my 5 honorable mentions here.
Hold on. Never right.
Carmine's not gonna like this, Ernie. He's gonna come back with some comments.
He loves me though.
It's true. Punch him in the face.
I guess just for the feeling you get when the little ball gets on the top. Atari Breakout.
Oh yeah, of course. Up top,
That
sure.
was cool. Addicting. That was
Love
addicting.
it. Again, I'm going to go more new school. I was a big Mortal Kombat fan in the arcade. I would play for hours. I remember I used to record at this recording studio in Brooklyn. In between takes, I'd be running down to play Mortal Kombat. It was ridiculous. And then when it came out for Super Nintendo and Sega, loved it. One of my favorite games of all time, Mortal Kombat. Graphic-wise, fighting, just great stuff.
Finish him.
Yes. And I was always the girls. I was always Sonya.
Yeah, you got the hair thing going.
All right, you morons. Great episode. Let's hear everyone's picks. What's your favorite video games? Again, I think we're gonna really have some crazy picks because I think depending on your age is when you really get the different games. So, you 3 are roughly the same age. I'm a little bit younger, but we're still in the same systems, whether it's Atari, ColecoVision, and Intellivision. I'd be surprised to hear some of the newer picks. Like, I don't know a lot of PlayStation and Xbox and all that stuff.
This isn't fair because the people who follow us are already dead from COVID, and the whole people talking from Como.
That's a good point.
You're the only one that's going to follow. You'll follow us.
Intellivision burger time.
Oh, I don't know that. You have to make burgers?
Yeah.
All right, Tommy went to
God.
pee. That's all the time we have for today. We'll see you.
There you go.
Oh, there's the missing eyeball. He was telling the truth.
That's his COVID protection.
Yeah, it wasn't a prop. I don't carry on one eyeball as a prop.
We'll see you next week. Good job, boys.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out, boys. Love yous.